When you first launch the application, which if you're on a Macintosh, you may have put the application in your dock, and on a Windows machine, you may have it in your taskbar. If not, check your Applications folder. Now, when you click on Premiere Pro, you'll be greeted by this dialog box. Now, Help is pretty obvious, but the other two I'll cover quickly. If you click on Open Project, you can actually dig down and find previous projects that you may have worked on and launch them from there. It's probably a lot easier just to click on the original project file, and you'll bypass this screen altogether. In the upper left-hand corner are the recent projects that you may have worked on, and if you've played with Premiere Pro prior to watching this course, you may have a list of some of the projects that you created. What I want to focus on is what happens when you click on New Project. And there's only a couple of things that you need to change. The first thing you need to be aware of is under Video Rendering and Playback, there may be an option that lets you choose between the Mercury Playback Engine, GPU acceleration, or just Mercury Playback Engine software only. If you have an older video card or a video card that doesn't quite meet the necessary specs for hardware acceleration, this will be grayed out because your only choice is software. The bottom line is you shouldn't change this at all because Premiere Pro will by default select the fastest solution. The only other thing you may be a little bit worried about is capture format if you're not working in DV or HDV, but again, you can ignore this because all this does is tell the application what format you might be using if you need to capture from tape. We actually explore this in more detail in the Capturing Video section of this course. The only two things you really need to focus on is where you want to save your project file and what you want to call it. You can click on the Browse button and select the location where your project file should be saved. By default, it's going to save it in the last location that you saved your previous project. For now, I'm going to save it on my desktop so I can easily throw it away when I'm done recording this movie. So I'm going to click on Browse, choose Desktop, and press Choose. Once that's been defined, go ahead and give your project a name. You shouldn't leave it as untitled, otherwise you'll have dozens and dozens of programs all over your computer named Untitled, and you won't be able to find the one you're looking for. So I'm going to call this Introduction to Premiere and press OK. It's this dialog box that at first may seem a little scary, but don't panic. All it's really doing is asking you to choose the settings for the sequence that you're going to edit your footage into. And guess what? If you press Cancel, you'll be able to automatically generate a sequence that matches your video clips with a simple click and drag. If you know you do have to edit to a specific format that's different from the footage that you have, you can go ahead and drill through this list and select that. But to get started, let's go ahead and click Cancel and get into learning more about Adobe Premiere Pro. And now you're greeted with the Premiere Pro interface. And we're going to explore this interface in the next movie.